The second function we have is the SUMX function. In that last tutorial, we learned about sum function, and now it is SUMX function. So there is a question in mind that are these functions different? Then the answer is yes. These two functions are different. So for some, if you want to know about sum function, then you need to go back to my previous tutorial and just check that. Now, what is SUMX function? SUMX function is a function that returns sum of an expression that we write to evaluate for each row in a table. That means it is an iterator function and it evaluates the sum of the expression that we write for each row in a table. That means it is useful when you need to perform row by row calculation before aggregation. So that means it will perform a calculation, right, for row by row values, right? Then once the row by row calculation is done, then it will just give you the sum aggregation, right? So this is the difference between sum and sum function. Sum function only adds up all the values in a column, but for SUMX function it will perform the row by row calculation we used to define using an expression. Then whatever the values will be provided by the expression for each row, then it will sum up all those values. What SUMX function. Now it has syntax as SUMX, table name, and expression. So these table and expressions are the parameters we use to pass into SUMX function. Table is the uh, is the one on which we are performing the calculation, and the expression we are writing to do our row by row calculation. Now in case if any of the, let's suppose we are performing calculation on two columns and one of those column contains some blank value, then what will happen? It will take that blank value as 0 and then perform the calculation, and it will return a decimal value, right? Now let us see an example in our Power BI desktop. So in the last tutorial we created this dedicated table for DAX, right? Here then we will be creating one measure, and we are going to calculate gross sales using SUMX function. Gross sales is the total revenue before applying any discount, right? Or total sales before applying to any discount, right? So gross sales, we will be just renaming this measure to uh, gross sales. Let me just put it this way. And if I just press shift and enter, we can go to the next line, and I am using SUMX here, and you will see two parameters. It is showing the syntax, table and expression, and it is showing one definition here, returns the sum of an expression, right? This is the definition of this function. So we have this feature into Power BI that makes this easy for us or the developers to write the text expressions, right? So here, first of all, I need to define the table. So for me it is orders table, and the expression will be sales amount into quantity. So here, first of all, I will be taking sales amount and multiplying it by quantity, right? This is my expression. So this is my table, and upon this table we are performing this calculation. My SUMX function will perform this calculation row by row for all the rows, right? It will multiply sales amount and quantity for each row, and whatever after the values will come up for this table, it will add that. So for execute this or to save this measure, let me click on this commit icon, right click here, or we can also press enter. So it is done. We can display it on our card. So I'm just copying and pasting this card to copy the formatting, right? Let me remove this total sales. I'll display gross sales over here. So this is my gross sales. Also I can display this gross sales onto my table also. So let me just put it sales amount in it, right? And let me put quantity also, right? and post that I'll be adding my gross sales here, and I can remove total sales from it. So this is my table, and you will observe that it is just multiplying this value 114,880 and 868, which is equals to this value, right? And then it is, once all these row calculations are done, then it is giving me the sum. This is the functionality of this SUMX function. So that means it is just multiplying some sales amount and quantity, right, for all the values, and then it is giving me the sum. So if I just remove this category here, subcategory, so I have these three values, or just for simplicity, let me add city here, right? uh, so let me put it above. So you will see sales amount and quantity. So if we multiply 433.60 into 5, so it will give me approx this value, right? And after each and every calculation is done, it is giving me these results for my expression and giving me this particular sum. So this is the condition of sum x function. So I have clearly mentioned each and everything into this slide. If you want to take note of this SUMX function, you can take the screenshot of this, or you can just pause this video and note it down. And all the measures and functions I will be explaining in this complete series itself. So you can just subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon, so that if any of the new video comes up, you will get notified of it, and you will be stay tuned with each and every function